Kia ora koutou spearfishing whānau. So we have just arrived at the magnificent Hogan Island. So technically we're in Tasmania. We're 50 nautical miles off the southern point of Wilson's Prom, southern Victoria. I don't know if you can see it, but that's our little base for the night. So we'll spend the day chasing crays, seeing what fish we can get, and then yeah, we'll do the same again tomorrow, and then we'll head back. So let's hope that we get something decent so you've got something good to watch. If not, this is going to be rather boring. As you can see, we were greeted by some amazing conditions. We're actually getting reports that the visibility was going to be rubbish, but we decided to make the trip over anyways and go have an adventure. So we've split into two groups and Jake and I have teamed up. The first dive of the day, Jake's just checking the terrain, and if you look closely you'll see his ventilation hole over his shoulder.
Yeah, it's good ground here. The bommies all have ledges.
So what we're doing is we're bunny hopping each other. So one diver goes down and checks the ledges, and when the diver surfaces, lets the other guy know that they're all good. The other diver heads down and checks the next part. This helps you cover loads of ground, as you can see where your dive buddies missed, or if they think something needs a second check, you can go and check that back out. We find this approach works best in a team of 3, as it gives everyone a good amount of time before their next dive. So we're just trying to look under all the cracks and ledges. And what we're looking for is trying to see if we can find any antennas or legs or something that's slightly different. So as you can see here, I've just seen some cray legs, and I'm just pointing out to Jake so we can mark that spot. Yeah. So working in teams like this really helps, because you get a lot of rest time on the surface, and you know that if anything goes pear-shaped, your buddy's going to be there to back you up. So during this grab, the cray swan snapped right off, and it managed to kick its way into my arms. But luckily Jake was there, so he was able to come down and grab it, so we didn't lose it. It's teamwork making the dream work, and it's better to have one cray on the boat than none at all. But not bad for the first 20 minutes of diving for the day. So we're just moving the boat, and the other guys are working on a cray, so we decided to pull over so Jake could jump in and film. Is that your first one? Oh, that's a good sized cray. Yeah, I got it. So unfortunately Danny was a bit too quick on this grab and we missed filming it.
Fucking saw the cunt walking from the top.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Good work.
Hey?
So now that we've got a few crays on the boat, we need to get some fish too, so we'd have some for dinner. So I decided to grab my gun and try a few dives, find some trumpeter for us. Now there was actually one hanging around over on the right there, but unfortunately, like always, when you've got a gun in your hand, they're just nowhere to be seen. We actually had another boat with us and they're full of linos, and they asked if we could jump in and get them a blue throat for some gummy shark bait. Great eating fish, but just not what we had in mind for dinner. So we just packing up our swag. We camped tonight. It was beautiful, but the ping was extremely loud. Last bit of footage you would have seen was Jake going to grab a cray. He should have the footage on his camera, and if not, then I guess you'll never see it. And then my battery died, but that's alright. We've got a whole day, battery's fully charged, so we're going to go try smash some fish, get some crayfish. When we got back, we had a total of 6 crays with us, so we cooked 2 of them up for dinner, but we had no fish, so we jumped in here, full of big King George. So about to gear up and see if we can shoot a couple to bring back with us, and then yeah, hopefully we can get some of that on footage. See you on the water. So hunting these King George was actually so much fun on this trip. So I've only got my 120 roller with me, which as you can see is a bit cumbersome to wave around and it tends to scare off the fish. Luckily though, because it is a 120, I can make those slightly longer shots and get away with them. And as you can see, it's only in a few meters of water, so this is the perfect way to warm up for the day. There were schools of these things everywhere. It was so much fun. So despite how small they might look on the footage with the GoPro, they were actually some really nice long fat fish. And the biggest one we got went just over 50 centimeters. finally everyone's ready, and we headed out to try and get a few more crays to take with us before making the trip home. Remember always to look up your catch limits and position limits when you dive in new areas. I had no idea how Jake was managing with that ventilation hole. The water was only 16 degrees and I was freezing in a 5mm.
He just walked straight out and grabbed me. He
Good
just
job.
wandered straight out onto my hand.
So Jake just pulled a cray, found one first dive of the day. Pulled it straight away, and funnily enough, 2 meters away, Danny's also found one. So let's make it 2 for 2. So unfortunately on this one, Benny doesn't actually make the grab, but I left this in because it's always a good reminder, especially for the newer divers, that it doesn't matter how good you are, some days you've got it and other days it's just not working for you. But don't let it get to you, and just remember it's all about having fun. What happened?
You were playing around with that.
Hey?
You were playing around with that.
Oh no!
Tried to fucking get heaps of root move. Oh well.
So another grab that was way too fast to get on camera, but by far the biggest highlight of the trip was Jake getting this big bull.
Just wandering around. Fuck, that's a beast. Oh fuck.
So we waited almost 24 hours later and it went 4.4 kgs on the scales, so I'd love to know how heavy it is right here in this footage. Definitely a fish of a lifetime. So this was an amazing trip. Beautiful above and below the water, and if you ever get a chance, I highly recommend doing it. Cheers for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.